Hi, everybody, and welcome to Snagit and Camtasia Better Together, webinar put on by us here at TechSmith. My name is Jason Vlad, and I'm an instructional designer and master trainer here at TechSmith. And I am joined by our presenter, fellow friend and fellow instructional designer on the customer education team, Mr. Ryan Aish. Ryan, greetings. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for everybody for being here. We're trying something new today, so bear with us. Hopefully it will go well, and hopefully you'll learn something new.
Sounds good, and I appreciate that. I'm just noticing a comment from Jeff saying you guys must be tired after yesterday. This is a true statement. We did conduct a day-long Level Up webinar experience, a digital event yesterday, so we're a little tired, but we're excited to share all this information with you. We are going to be working on Windows machines today using Snagit 2022 and Camtasia 2022. So if you have both those versions of the software, you're good to go. If anything's a little different, I don't think there's anything that we're going to show that's different. So you should be great with your workflow. So let's get through a couple of quick things. First, today's agenda. A lot of people always ask us the question, what should I be using? Snagit, Camtasia, what do those things do? So we're going to break that down for you at a real base level to talk about what's Snagit, what's Camtasia. Ryan and I, mainly Ryan, is going to show you a few ways that we use them together. This is not an exhaustive list. It's just a couple of ways that we on our team use them in creative ways and maybe outside of the norm that you would think of. And then as you're engaged today, we might ask you a few ways that you might use the two pieces of software together. Number one question we always get asked, is this webinar being recorded? It sure as heck is. We are recording this webinar, and you will get a link to the recording in about 24 hours upon the completion of today's session. Feel free to watch that as many times as you want, reshare it, share it with colleagues, anybody that couldn't make it. We're happy to have that content out in the world and being helpful for you. I mentioned earlier, but the Q&A section of the Zoom webinar is open. If you have specific questions that you'd like us to tackle, we would love to try and answer those. We've got a crew of TechSmithies behind the scenes. We've got Chandra, we've got Rob, and we have Melissa helping to answer questions today. We appreciate them being here and being a part of our event. I'm double checking that I didn't miss anybody, right? Nope, that's it. So that and then Ryan and I. So ask those questions to your heart's content. We'll do our best to answer them. We also have chat turned on, so you can engage with other people in the chat. We found this to be really engaging. People come up with cool ideas and sometimes even answer each other's questions. So we're happy for you to engage that way as well. We also have live transcription turned on. If you find closed captioning helpful, those services are available to you as well. You can toggle them on and off. There's different settings within the live transcript button, so explore those as well. Happy to have that available to you. So let's start off with, can we ask you a couple questions? Literally two questions. And I have one here that I want to ask to start off. And it is a multi-choice answerable question, which means you can select more than one answer. And that question is, what is your experience with TechSmith webinars? Are you, is this the first one you've ever attended? Have you signed up before, but mainly to get the recording? Are you a pro and you recognize Ryan's voice, my voice, Chandra, who's also in here with us? She's a regular in our webinar rotation. Or are you also coming here from Level Up? Maybe you attended Level Up yesterday and you just learned that this webinar was happening today. I'm just kind of curious to see what your experience is with our webinar system, because we're constantly expanding and doing awesome stuff on it. All right, so we'll go ahead and end this. And it looks like got a pretty good representation here, Ryan. About 30% of the answers were first time attending. Some are regular, some are pros, and 72 people said they attended Level Up yesterday. So thanks for joining us again. We really appreciate that. The second question is real easy, and it's about today's webinar. And this is a singular answer question: is TechSmith software, do you currently own or use Snagit, Camtasia, both, or neither? You're here to learn about them, which is totally a legit answer, because some people are just new to the software. And we appreciate being able to share that information. Ryan, I'm going to tell you right now, the overwhelming majority carry both products.
Awesome.
And like 84% of the attendees. So great, you're in the right place. We are good to go. So at this point, we want to talk, well, I'll just leave it here, about what each of the products are really quickly. Although maybe we don't have to. We can do this pretty quick because the overwhelming majority of you have both. So what is Snagit? In a nutshell, it's the go-to tool for capturing images and adding annotations to those still images. You can quickly capture informal videos with your screen recording, your webcam, and your voice. I do this on a daily basis. Just did it this morning for another coworker. You can build job aid documents from your captures by assembling previously collected images together, and then you can easily share those with others. If I'm missing something in how you use Snagit, let us know. And then what is Camtasia? Well, Camtasia is used to record and create professional looking videos. We use these for tutorials or demos, marketing videos. Almost every video that comes out of TechSmith, especially over the last 3 or 4 years, has been made with Camtasia. Sometimes it's an unreleased version, but we definitely are using our software to create those videos for you. You can add drag and drop effects, text, transitions, callouts, and a ton more. You can engage your audience with music and animations, and you ultimately are creating videos that people want to watch. And as a matter of fact, this question gets asked so often, we have a blog post on it. Which tool do I use? Which one is right for you? Because they know they both capture things. So this is a blog post, including a video by our friend Aaron, all about how each of these programs work. And I'm going to throw that link right in the chat so you have that available for you. Ryan, I'm done with my slides for right now. I think we should start talking about the ways we use Snagit and Camtasia together. So I'm going to stop my screen share, and then Ryan and I are going to both stay on audio, but we're going to turn off our cameras so that you can get a full view of what's happening on the screen. Sound good to you, Ryan?
Sounds good. I'm
Awesome.
sharing my screen right now. Let me know if you can see it.
I can see Camtasia in Snagit. It's Inception.
All right, let me turn off my camera as well. 1 second. And so one thing where Jason and I are different is he can do like 17 things at the same time. And so he's like handling chat and Q&A and copying links and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to kind of not look at chat right now, because as soon as I do, it's like squirrel and I can't focus on more than one thing. So I am sharing my screen. So at the moment, I'm doing something also that I normally don't do. I'm showing my taskbar at the bottom just because it's going to be easier for me to jump back and forth. So I normally try to hide that in webinars, but for today, I'm going to break one of my rules and share that. So what you're looking at here at the moment is Snagit, the Snagit editor. And I've got some different images and videos on the capture tray here at the bottom. If I jump over here to Camtasia, this is just a sample video. This is actually one we used at Level Up yesterday, or I did for my presentation. But this is just a simple screen recording with voiceover, mouse moving across the screen, clicking, and so forth. So nothing too fancy, but this is kind of what we're going to start with working for this project. So Jason, I'll go ahead and start and kind of show, first of all, how we send or kind of use Snagit images and send them over into Camtasia.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ryan, this is, of my Snagit and Camtasia usage, this is like 97% of my use case right here.
Yep, I agree. I rarely send stuff from Camtasia over to Snagit, but I would love to hear if any of you out there do use that for anything. Please let us know. We'd love to hear ways you are utilizing the programs in going both ways. So one of the first things I'm going to show you is just any image that you have, and I just happen to have a Camtasia logo here. One of the things that you could do is come up to the share button in the top right corner, and you're going to see a Camtasia share option. And this is really the quickest way to just click this button, and it will notify you down at the bottom if you have Camtasia open. It's going to blink and let you see that it's something's happening over there, and it basically just sends that image right into your media bin. And so now you can treat it like a call out or anything, and basically anything, and layer it on top of an image or on top of your video. And so I can drag this, I can drag it over here to my, on top of the canvas. You can see it drops down here on the next available track. And what I'm going to show here, one example, I'm going to put this over here in the corner. And one thing that you can do is kind of watermark your videos. So I'm going to put this on the very top track. I'm going to extend it. Since it's an image, you can easily resize and however long you want the video to be. You don't have to do any extend frames and things like that you have to with videos. But I can also, with it selected, I'm going to bring the opacity down so it's just barely you can see it. And now when I export this video, it's going to have this little logo down here. So if you can see yourself, if you want to like keep your videos knowing that it was created by you, you can burn in maybe your logo, or one of my other favorite things. I don't know, I'd never really do this, but you could put your face on it. So if I send Jason's, I put a little torn edge effect around it. I'm going to send that over to Camtasia. I can drag that down onto my playhead. I'll put another one just to kind of show you that it works with all kinds of images. I'll put this one over here in this corner. I can rotate it a little bit, whatever I want to do there. I'll bring that opacity down too. But just to get the idea is now you can watermark your videos just by sending an image in, and it's now going to be there. And if you change the opacity, then if there's anything that might be underneath it, it can kind of show through, and you're not going to necessarily hide anything. So again, this is just one example of how you could easily watermark your videos by sending images from Snagit. And I'm just using small images, but you can send anything over and use them from your Snagit editor. Another thing that I'm going to show you before I'm going to jump over here, back over to Camtasia, is I'm going to start a brand new project. So I'm going to go into new. So it's basically a blank Camtasia project. And same thing with, as far as images go, is if anybody uses Snagit to record videos, these are, as Jason mentioned on the kind of introducing what Snagit is excellent for creating those very kind of impromptu or just informal, that's the word I'm looking for, is informal videos of where somebody asks you a question and you want to be able to answer them visually. You can just fire up the Snagit recorder, which looks like this, and you can record a video. You can even add a webcam and hit record and basically capture just an informal video. And I've got one here where I have walked through how to find our TechSmith tutorials on our website. And so if somebody asks me that question, I can easily send them this video. But one of the nice things about, Snagit is it's super quick. It does have limited editing though. I do have the ability to where I can trim out and cut some things on from the video. But if I wanted to get in and make this a little bit more polished, I can do the same thing as I did with the image. I can say share it to Camtasia. It's going to send this video over to my media bin. It's going to automatically drop it on my timeline if I don't have anything on there yet. And now I have the ability to go through and apply any of the effects that I want, just like normal that I would with any video that I would bring in. And another cool thing is if I have another video, so this one happens to be about how to find our webinars on our website. And I don't have the ability in Snagit to combine these into one video. I would have to share them separately. But if I wanted to, I could send this one over to Camtasia. It's going to add it to my media bin. And then this one here, I can drag it down onto the timeline. And I now have my first video, and then it's going to go into my second video. And if I wanted to, I could bring this over. Let me go into my library, and I could add one of these cool little titles. Let's see here, drag it down. And so maybe I want this, once this video ends, I want this title to come in, and with it selected, I'm going to change it. And it's going to be something like find TechSmith, webinars. And so now I can make this little, let me play the end of this one, and then we'll see what this looks like. So hope that helps. Thanks.
Cool.
Hey there, I would like to show you how to find our webinar. And there you go. So it's kind of a quick way of how you can stitch two Snagit videos together, put in just a basic title slide or make it however fancy you want. And then I can go up to export and I can export this out as one video that I'm sharing instead of having to send them out separately.
Sweet.
So Jason, to you.
Yeah. So I actually am just going to ask you to show two quick things that have come up that people are already like, oh my gosh. But if you can go over to Snagit for a quick second. Some people are saying they have Snagit and Camtasia both installed, but when they go to their share menu in Snagit, Camtasia is not listed. Can you show them how they get it into their Snagit share destinations? And frankly, you can customize these. And Ryan, you can just show you that right now.
Yes. So hopefully I've got this right. But if you click on the share menu and you do not see Camtasia here, if you click on
it installed.
Yep. Let me go ahead and click on this gear menu and do share preferences. And over here, if you click on this plus button, it's going to take you to our website, support.techsmith.com. And this is where you can find different share destinations. And the very top one is Camtasia. And so this, you would want the Snagit 2019 or greater. So click on the download. It's going to download it to your machine and prompt you to add it right into your Snagit shared outputs. And then back here in Snagit, let me come back, to here. You would then be able to see that here inside of your destination here. So, and then click OK, and then you should see it underneath the drop-down menu.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
The second question, and this is just a general question, then we'll move right on to the next part, is when you share something from Snagit to Camtasia, where is that file saved? And this is a great opportunity to talk about that standalone project file.
Yes. Excellent question. So over here in Camtasia, right now this project is not saved. So when I bring things over, it's in a kind of a temporary state. But if I go up and I save this project, and let me just jump into, I'm going to go to my desktop. Oh, I'm going to go to downloads. I'm just going to make a new folder here and just call it webinar. I've got my caps lock on. Webinar stuff. How about that? And inside of here, I'm going to call this one Stitch, or I'm going to actually call it Combine Snagit Videos. And this is a TSC project. And this right here where it says create a standalone project. This is checked by default. I recommend leaving that checked. And I'm going to hit save. And so once that video is saved, let me add something else here. Come back over to Snagit. Let me grab this Snagit logo. I'll send that over to Camtasia. And then you see it here in the media bin. If I save this again, it is now saved. Let me open up a folder here. Bear with me. And inside, let me drag this over here. Hopefully you can see that. So inside my downloads folder is this webinars stuff folder. This is that TSC project. And by checking that box that said combine into a standalone project file, this is like a folder. And if I open this up, it's going to show all of the media that's in the media bin over here inside of here. So let me actually leave this on the screen. I'm going to come back to Snagit and I'm going to send the Camtasia logo over there to Camtasia. And it's in the media bin. Let me open up my downloads folder. It's not in here yet, but as soon as I save my project, jump back over here, there's the logo.
Yep. So Ryan, we've got a ton of more questions, which we thought might happen, but I think we want to do your next workflow. And then we'll probably end up going over 30 minutes for people to have questions. But could you go with your next one?
You bet. So this is a kind of an idea that I wouldn't really say that I use it a lot, but it's something that might spark an idea that some of you might use. So if you are creating videos in Camtasia and you have the need to maybe turn that video into maybe a job aid or a step-by-step written tutorial that you want to export as a PDF or something that you can share with your viewers or maybe colleagues or something like that, is there's the ability inside of Camtasia. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open up the finished one. So this is the same video, but with some edits to it. So where I've added a lower third at the beginning, I've added, if I drag over here, you can see I've added a call out and stuff like that. Well, when you get your video completed, maybe you want to send out some, create some images. So I'm going to start here and position my playhead at this spot right here. And that's just this frame is showing on my screen. Well, one of the things you can do from the export menu is export a frame as, and there is shortcut hotkeys, Control F will do this for you. So if I click on that, it's going to prompt me, and it basically opens up my my TSC project, my standalone project file, and I'm going to give this a name. So I'm going to call this one, see, I practiced this earlier, calling them step 1, step 2. I'm going to call this one, step A, and I'm going to hit save, and it's going to send that image. And let me jump over here to this folder. Let me, so that you guys can kind of see it happening in real time. And the Zoom, bear with me here. Sorry, the Zoom controllers are covering up some stuff. So let me scroll down, and step A, where are you? Am I putting it in the right spot? I'm in the wrong video. Hold on. Give me 1 second here, and I will find it.
There you go. It's in the VHW project folder. There it is.
Step A. Okay, so there we go. So let me actually change this over so you can see here's that step A image that I just added. Now, next step, I'm going to kind of scrub across here and say, after I click on my account, the next part is signing in. So I'm going to stop my playhead right here. I can go up and say export, or I can use the hotkeys. Let me use the hotkeys this time. Control F. It's going to prompt me to save this again. And I'll call this one step B. And you get the idea. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but you're just going to basically stop where you want the next frame to be, do the hotkey, Control F, and save it. And then
Hey,
over
Ryan?
here, yeah.
Sorry to bug. Could you go to the menu for exporting frame as, just for a quick second? Control F.
Yeah.
Control F. Gotcha. That's what I wanted to double check. Thanks.
Yeah. And yep, you bet. And I'll do one more actually using that. So let me stop it right here with this arrow pointing, and I'm going to do Control F on my keyboard. It's going to pop up, and it's going to remember where I've saved this. And this one, instead of step B, I'm going to call it step C, and continue on. So, and I would do that for each one of them. So let me now jump over here into Snagit, and I'm going to say File Open, and I'm going to open up each of these images that I just did. So let me jump over here to step A, B, and C. So, yep, let's just go ahead and use this, and I'll say open, and it's going to open up each of these images now into my Snagit editor. What I can do, what's kind of cool, is obviously I can edit these as any images. I can annotate them and put them in a document or so forth. But I'm going to select all 3 of these. So I basically held down my Shift key, and I clicked on the first, second, and third one here so that all 3 of them are selected. And I'm going to right click on one of them. And one of the options in this menu is Combine in Template. And when I click that, it's going to prompt me with some templates. Some of them, you're going to have some pre-installed templates. You can also click this download more button, and it will take you to the Snagit asset store where you can download both additional free templates, as well as if you have a subscription, you can get more premium ones. But here is where it's going to show you different templates that you can create and add images to. And since this one, I'm only showing 3 of them, I'm going to use this guy right here, this Arbor 3 steps landscape, and say next. And it automatically drops in those images in the order that I have them on my my tray down here. And I can give it a title. So I'm going to call this one Track Viewer Analytics. I can add in the text here if I wanted to. So I'm going to do I'll just call this one step 1, step 2 for time's sake. But you can obviously type in additional information. And now when I click combine, it's going to create this template for me with, I've got a place up here where it brought in my title. I can add a subtitle here just by double clicking. And this one is going to be called Video Hosting Website. But here's another cool thing is this image that brought in, it kind of, if I double click on it, you can see that it's kind of cropping some of the area. So if I move this over, I can then position it with what I want them to see in the image. And for this one here, if I need to just resize it a little bit so that they see more of the image, I can definitely do that. And you've got some other pre-created steps down here where it says created by. If I don't want that and the date, I can just delete them. Same thing with made with TechSmith Snagit. If you don't want that, you can just click and delete them. If you want to make this more color coordinated friendly or whatever, you can change the title. You can change these steps. If I click on and hold down Shift and select all of them, I can come over here and say, let's see, I'm going to choose my eyedropper and choose this color. And that is my new color for the steps and so forth. And if I wanted to edit any of the text inside of here, if I just double click, I have like a text editor. I can type in additional text there. So now I have my little job aid. I can share this out maybe as an image to the web. I can export it as a PDF or what have you. And then you can share it out. So again, not sure if all of this makes sense, if this is something that you would utilize, but it's just definitely a way to export images from Camtasia from a video that you've already created, and maybe you can turn them into some image files. So are there any other questions that are coming in or comments, Jason, that
that
I can
couple hundred. So here's the thing we're at. We are officially at the time we said this webinar was going to go to. I'm okay staying on. Ryan, are you okay staying on for a few?
Definitely. Yep.
All right. So, and I know if our team in the back has to drop off, they have been furiously answering your questions. So we appreciate that. And yes, Ryan went fast, but you are going to get the recording to review any particular parts. There are some people were saying like, geez, with that export frame, is this how you create a thumbnail for YouTube? Yeah, that's an absolute perfect use case for that. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, Ryan, were calling out that little camera button. Would you be willing to show? So we were doing Control F, export frame as. The camera button does something just slightly different, and it's dependent on where your playhead is for your video.
Yep. So exactly. So right here, this frame that shows my username and my password, obviously the password's just asterisks. But let's say I wanted to pause this right here where before I click on sign in. And when I click this little camera icon, it's going to export. It basically takes a picture of this frame. It adds it to my media bin and it drops it on the next track above. So what this allows you to do is if you wanted to cover up something in your video, like, let me move this up a little bit because you can't see all the tracks. So back here, when I come down here and I click on this and I see example at techsmith.com, possibly one of the things you might want to do is hide that image. And you could use something like an annotation, like a blur call out. So I could drag a blur call out over here and whoops, drop it on the timeline, and I could try to cover up that on there. Or I could take this still image that I've created. And one thing that I've done this before where I've sent this over into Snagit and I've basically modified it. I've put like a box over this to hide the email. And then when I send that back into Camtasia, I can drag that down here to the timeline and basically replace my image here that's on the screen. So right there, when that pops on the screen, I can move this over and kind of resize this so that it only covers up that part. I didn't blur anything on it, but this would basically be how you could cover up and hide or something that you did not necessarily want to have shown in your video. Didn't explain that very well. I apologize, but
No,
this is
okay.
a way that you can definitely add frames right into your video onto your timeline.
So I'm going to make this statement, and I'm going to say this for someone just commented in the chat, Jesse, and I think this is the ultimate statement of a webinar like this today, Ryan. They said, it's funny how we all go blind to features that have been there forever just because we've never clicked them before. That's why these sessions are important, because no one uses 100% of the product. And even when Ryan and I were putting this webinar together, Ryan would come up with an idea and I thought, I never used it that way. Or I would come up with a way to do something and Ryan's like, I never thought of it like that. So that's why these webinars are important and helpful to people. So we're actually going to wrap it up, I think, Ryan. We've got a lot of people that are having to drop off, so I don't want to lose anyone else. So I'm going to bring up our slide deck only because there's something, a couple more things we wanted to share. One is this. If you're still new to Snagit and Camtasia, or you want to level up your skill set in general, we have two email challenges that Ryan created. One was a 5-day one for Camtasia, and one was a 4-day one for Snagit. It allows you to, at your own pace, get into both products and go through an entire project from start to finish, or get some ideas on how to use it. These are free opportunities for you to continue growing and learning. Something we just recently introduced, and all these links, by the way, will be sent in the follow-up email, so you don't have to worry about feverishly writing them down unless you truly want to. We also have started up something called the TechSmith Reward Program. So if you're already engaging with TechSmith, if you're already on our YouTube channel, if you're already making videos, this is an opportunity for you to earn points and earn stuff like software, gear, swag. Ryan, there's even an option once they get to a certain point level where they can have a personalized custom training with us. And I know what those cost. And they can earn reward points just to get to that stage where they could do a training for themselves or their small group. So as we get to the end here, we want to say thank you so much for attending. You will get a recording link. It will be sent to the email that you used to register for this webinar. You will get the handout, the general handout for Camtasia, and one for Snagit. You will also get a survey as soon as we end this webinar, and it takes about a minute. It's 4 questions long. That is exactly how we came up with this webinar idea for today, was people asking in the survey, geez, I don't know which product to use or how to use them together. We read those survey answers completely and fully as a team, and we suss out the information that makes the most sense for building webinars. In fact, Ryan, you and I are conducting a webinar next week on Snagit use in the classroom, right? We're both former classroom educators, so we're going to talk about using Snagit in the classroom. We also have one next week with Jesse O'Donnell, who's on our social team, about using Camtasia to create social content, like even those vertical videos and stuff like that. So at this point, I'd love to hand it off to you and say, you got any parting words as we thank everyone for being here, as well as all of the TechSmithies in the background making this happen?
Yeah, so thanks to Chandra, Melissa, and Rob for answering questions in the Q&A and chat and everything. Thank you all for being here, joining us. This gets us excited when people want to come and learn about Snagit and Camtasia, and so that we can kind of share ways that we've used it, as well as learn from you guys and how you guys use our software and how we can improve and become better. So thank you all for being here.
Absolutely. And for those who are interested and those who are commenting that they might need something that's stepped down a little bit in skill set, no problem. TechSmith.com/webinars. We have sessions that are called Getting Started. There's a Getting Started with Camtasia session that's coming up in a couple weeks, as well as on the same day, a Getting Started with Snagit. So we go through basic content creation with both of those tools. And if you ever have this opportunity and you don't sign up for a webinar, if you scroll down just a little bit, there is a button here that says View Previous Recordings. You can have access to the entirety of our webinar backlog of recordings. So we did one last week with Emmy Musser here at TechSmith about 5 ways you never thought to use Snagit. We did a team one, making Camtasia work for your teams. You can even watch the most recent Getting Started webinars right here, as well as a series of deeper dives into Snagit and Camtasia and Audiate. So thank you everyone so much for being a part of our session today. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we look forward to reading how you're using Snagit and Camtasia together. Take care.
Thanks all.